Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how to create a Marine fallen profile on Together We Served. So there's 5 things you want to do when you're saving a profile. First, you need to log in. Once you've logged in, you want to search to see if this name has already been done, because we don't want to write a second profile for someone that's already had a profile done. And third, you're going to add the Remembered Veterans profile to Together We Served. Then you will complete the service history, and the last thing you do is add photos. So to log in, you want to go to Together We Served, press the login button, select the branch that you're in, and then press login. So here we are. We're now on this page here. We've logged into Together We Serve. This is on the left is what the screen looked like before you logged in. On the right, this is what it looked like after you logged in. It's going to look a little different if it's not a Marine page. Each of the branches have a little bit different look. So now that we've logged in, we're going to add a Remembered Veteran, and the way we do that is in this drop-down menu in the middle of your page. We're going to go to Remember Veteran. This may say brothers, it may say shipmates, it may say wingman. Once you've done the Remember a Veteran, it's going to pull up a page that's going to have you fill out the basic information. So let's go ahead and do that. Brothers, Remember a Veteran. So I'll scroll down here, and here it's going to let us choose which branch they're from. So you can save a veteran from any branch. It doesn't have to just be your home branch. In this case, it's a U.S. Marine Corps. And the type of remembrance is fallen. So fallen, it does say died in combat, but for the purposes of World War II, this would also include people that were in accidents or any death that occurred while they were active in service, whether overseas or stateside, between May 27th, 1941 and January 31st, 1946. Can all be qualified as fallen. You would pick MIA if they died but their body was never recovered. So we're going to put down this Marine's name. His name is Russell Edwin Lee. We'll put his first name and his middle name in this box. His last name we'll put here. He was an active Marine Corps. He joined the service in 1944, so I'm going to type in 1944. And after I type it, I still have to select it from the drop-down menu. He died in 1945. I have to select that. He was enlisted. He was a private. I'm just going to put unknown here, and I'm going to pick unknown in the next box too. Sometimes you may have more details to include something there. He was born in Utah, and I actually know what town he was in. He was born in Price, so I'll put his hometown there. You may not always have that information. His birth date is November 9, of 1917. Now it's interesting that his Find a Grave page says 1918, but his gravestone says 1917. So I'm going off of the date on the gravestone, figuring that the family would have gotten that right. And the date of passing was the 20th of February, 1945. And he's no relation to me, so I don't pick any of these other classifications or someone that I served with. He is just the most general classification of remembered veterans. So I select that, and he's from World War II, so I'll select World War II. Create a profile. So now we have a profile created for Russell Lee. And here I am on his page. Sometimes it won't take you to the page. If that happens, then you go to Profile, scroll down to where you see Brothers and Sisters, and then where it says Remembered Veterans. And it'll be listed alphabetically with the rest of the profiles that you've been working on. So alphabetically, I got to go down to Lee. Here he is right there, Russell Edwin Lee. So that's the other way I can get to this page. So what we've done so far now is we logged in, we searched for a name. Instructions are in a different video how to do that. And we've added the remembered veteran. So a record has been created, but it's pretty incomplete. It just has basic information. So we want to do step 4, complete the service history. So there's a number of pieces to the service history. Medals and awards, official badges, unofficial badges, recruit training, unit assignments, combat and non-combat operations, the additional info and comments. And this is where your story goes, will be in the comments. And then military associations and other affiliations. And this is where you're going to put and mark that it's a Stories Behind the Stars project name. So let's go ahead and complete the service history. Here it says service history, medals and awards. So clicking on here, these are the Marine Awards. There's quite a few here. Most of them are quite specialized, so you would not have most of those show up, and there's multiple pages. But in this case, he did die in combat. We have a record that that happened, so we can show that it was a Purple Heart for a medal or award. You may not have all the information to complete this, but the nice thing about working with Together We Serve is their staff, based on the information you add, may be able to add other information to your profile. Okay, so we did the medals and awards. Official badges, most of these I've noticed, you can open this real quickly, they're modern and they don't really apply to World War II. So you can look at these a few times to start with, but you'll probably see that generally, U.S. Space Command, obviously these are mostly modern badges, so you would not expect to see these in World War II profiles. The unofficial badges is a section we do want to fill out. And that's because this is where the Gold Star designation is found. So I clicked on Gold Star, Save Badge. So recruit training, I could add information about his recruitment if I knew where he did his training. In this particular story, which is an adaptation of one I did back in 2017 when I was doing my blog, I didn't have that information, or I didn't look it up. So if you know that, you can add that here. For his unit assignment, I'm going to add that next. So he joined his unit in 1944. So I'm going to put that down here. And the name contains, this is kind of a specialized unit, so let's see if it's going to show up. It did show up, 5th Joint Assault Company. So the nice thing about Together We Served is, because they have all the units listed, if there's other people who served in the same unit, they will also show up in Together We Served. So I'm going to put his concluding month of February 1945. I don't know for sure from the information I had exactly when he was assigned to this unit, so I'm going to leave the from month blank. And it'll show the patch here that goes along with that unit. Here we have the information as far as what his rank was while he was in this unit. He was a private, and we don't know what his MOS is, so we're going to leave that unknown. I was doing this and only had like an hour of time on my lunch break to put these together. Some of you are going to have more time doing your research, hopefully, and you may be able to find this level of detail to put in there. The location where he ended up was at Iwo Jima, and the country that is in Japan. So these are listed state, and then the countries are at the bottom. And then we can press Save Assignment Details. So if he had been in multiple units, we could have added another unit by just pressing this button here to add another unit. As far as combat and non-combat operations, we're going to add something here. In 1945, he was in the Battle of Iwo Jima, so we're going to type in Iwo, do a search, and it shows right here, Battle of Iwo Jima. He joined late, so this is going to be the only battle that he was in, but some of the following you'll write about were in multiple battles. So you could go to combat and non-combat operations, press this button again, and you could add additional areas where he was in combat. And once we have multiple areas of combat, these will tie in with the people that were there also. So for instance, there are 2,415 records of people that were in the Battle of Iwo Jima on Together We Serve. There were 6 others in the 5th Joint Assault Single Company. So far, they're on Together We Serve. Now, additional info and comments, this is where we're going to add the story, and we don't do it in the info section, we do it in the comment section. And the reason why it's here is the way the transfer of data from Together We Serve to Fold 3 works is the section of the other comments transfers over to the story section on Fold 3. So I usually recommend that you type your story elsewhere, maybe in Word or Google Doc, and then just copy and paste it over. Taking its time. Let me try it again. So when I copied it over, notice that it's got a lot of extra space. So I don't need all this blank space. I'm just going to clean it up a little bit. And then save additional information. So the story's been added. The service history. The next section says tributes from members. So as the author, you're usually not going to put anything there unless perhaps you have some personal connection with that person. Otherwise, this would be used later by people who want to add comments related to the profile you've set up. For the military associations and other affiliations, you're going to press that button. And under associations, you're going to start typing in stories. There it is, Stories Behind the Stars. And we can select which state he was from. And you don't have to complete the other sections. We just press Save Association. We can now see that the Stories Behind the Stars emblem is now associated with that name, and this will be included in totals for Stories Behind the Stars in total and also by state. So we're done with that section. We do have this section of uploaded documents. Now this is for documents that are PDF, doc files, PowerPoint, text files, Excel files. If you have something related to that you want to include, you can save them here. There is a limit on the size they can be. So that's pretty much all the stuff to do the service history, which leaves us the last part of adding photos. So we're going to learn how to do the service photo, the current photo, and miscellaneous photos, and also how to edit a photo. So to add photos, over here is the service photo, and you see this little mark, which is what you press to change the photo. We're just going to add a file. And this is a photo right here, this is his photo. Press open and start upload. And you can move this box around to center it better how you want it. As far as the year, you may not know what it is, so I usually don't worry about changing that. We're going to assign it to photo in uniform. You may not always have a photo in uniform because these are so old. It's better to have any photo rather than no photo at all. Over here under the current photo, we're going to just try to have something different besides showing the same photo. So what we're going to do is we're going to show a picture of his gravestone. We don't know the date this was taken, so we're going to leave this blank for now. So notice that right now we really can't get the whole gravestone in the photo. But the nice thing about it is even after you've saved it, somebody from Together We Served on the back end is going to go in and they'll be able to make some adjustments, so you should be able to see the whole thing there. Okay, so we now have those two photos. We want to add photos miscellaneous. That's not quite as intuitive. You go to Edit Profile, and you go to Photos, and over here in the corner you're going to see Add Photo. Might not be easy to see if you don't know where to look for it. And it says, where are we going to put that? If we scroll down here at the bottom, it says Miscellaneous Photos and Forums. So I press Add Photo, and I could find a recent photo. For this particular person, I don't have any additional photos, so there isn't another one to add, but I could add one, press Attach, and it would take me to add it to this miscellaneous section. So that's how you add the photos. You basically have completed a profile here for this person. One last thing I want to show you. Here's the profile. We started off by entering the basic information. That was this section right here. Let's see, service details. Here it is. This is kind of the information we put in at the start. When you edit this, you can actually add additional information here. Cause of death, location where he died, location of interment. That's important to add, so let's put that here. He's in Utah. And once you pick Utah, it's going to start looking for all the places in Utah. So he happens to be at Alta Rest Memorial Park. I don't have his plot information. Should do that in most cases, so we have that record. And we can press Save Personal Contact Information. So that's now more complete. As you see, scrolling down here, this is what it looks like in profile mode. But there's two other ways. You don't have to do any work, but it now is taking this information in a couple other presentation views. One's called Mini Plaque. This is what his mini plaque looks like. And you can also view a shadow box. And the shadow box is the document that will be loaded on the smartphone when it's time to read these stories at the gravesite. So this is in computer screen mode, so it shows it in a different field, but it will scroll down one side and then down the other, so it all fits more in a smartphone view. But this is what people will be reading about Russell Edwin Lee when they see his when they see his story on Together We Served. So let's say create a marine profile. Thank you.